Hello and welcome to another Warcraft III audio commentary. Today we're going to be watching, what's that? Game 2 of the IAF 2012 coverage best of 3 match between Lucifer spawning as the red undead in the lower left right corner. It's Turtle Rock, so again, I mean, it's kind of like the 5 o'clock position. Versus TED spawning as the yellow undead in the upper leftish corner and 6 o'clock-ish position. Yeah, 6 o'clock. I'll go with 6 o'clock. Wait, no, not 6 o'clock. What am I saying? This is 6 o'clock right here. So this will be 5 o'clock. So we do have Lucifer in the 5 o'clock. The 9 o'clock's right here. So we'll say 10 o'clock for TED. So the 5 o'clock for Lucifer, 10 o'clock for TED. That is Turtle Rock. What a map. You would think by now I would be good about these spawns, but I'm actually not. I'm sorry. So looks like TED going for the standard Fiend build opening. Of course, on this map, there's so many choke points. As you can see, just choke point, 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 just choke point, choke point. It's so many choke points, and choke points are just great for Fiend builds. Absolutely amazing for Fiend builds. Some of those choke points were kind of big, like this one's kind of big, but it's still a choke point. It still really is. If you play, because if you have your Fiends kind of forming a line like this, your ghouls aren't gonna get around very easily. So I mean, it's still a choke point. Not the greatest choke point, but a lot of these are really good choke points. Like this one, both really good choke points. These are, of course, both. This is really good choke points. Down here, of course, really kind of opener. The left side of the map kind of has a more, well, these are kind of more open, it looks like. I'm not sure if that's entirely true, but they kind of look like, see, this one definitely is more, this is more open than this one. So it's not a perfectly symmetrical map, I don't think, but whatever. So, whatever, it doesn't really matter. So we do see TED actually going ahead and killing one of these acolytes that Lucifer was scouting with. Lucifer going with the Lich Ghoul build, and he's going with a very aggressive build. This isn't one that's built for creeping, and of course Lucifer can out-creep you, out-creep your Lich build in this case. So that's kind of the problem with Lucifer just backing off and creeping. He can do that as long as he is, you know, preventing TED from getting free creeping as well. And so that's why he's on his side of the map. He needs to get onto this side of the map. He needs to provide lots of early harass. He does have the early advantage in terms of food count, and he can use that very much aggressively. And as you can see right now, he's going to be able to pick off lots of these little skeletons here, each providing 12 experience. That will add up. As you can see, he's at 144 experience right now. Going to go ahead and send that low HP ghoul back to his base. If we look back here, we can see he's got plenty of ghouls mining. Did, of course, creep this out with just ghouls at some point. And he is teching right now, so he is on his way to tier 2. Over here, we can see that TED also doing the same thing. Both players at about the same tech level. We do see TED going with the 3 ghouls, 4 wood, and of course that's a fairly standard build with Fiends for his main army. Now we do see Lucifer coming back in here. He knows that TED can see him because of the skeleton. He's doing this on purpose. He does not want TED to out-creep him right now, and part of this is that he wants to build up his own wood repertoire, I guess you could say, and that's kind of important for having lots of ghouls on wood early on for the kind of wood-intensive build he's most likely going to be going with. Because if you go with, really it doesn't matter what build you go with, but if you're playing ghouls and you got Lich, you're probably going to be doing some kind of a wood-intensive build. And so that's why it definitely helps to have lots of ghouls on wood early on. And he could just use those to creep with, but he could also do what he's doing right now, which is essentially stopping TED from creeping until TED has an army that Lucifer isn't going to want to fight. And at which point, if both players go and creep, then it's going to be good for Lucifer because, you know, then he gets to use his ghouls really in the most efficient way that he wants to use them. Because there's multiple really efficient ways to use them, but the way he's going with this build, it definitely looks like he's going for a very wood-intensive build. And so, of course, doing this where he kind of he's trying to not have creeping going on either side, and that is very, very efficient. So this is all speculation, but it definitely looks like that's what he's doing. As you can tell, he's trying to get that wood. Even with the amount of ghouls he has on wood, you can see his wood count really isn't going up as fast as you might think it would. You can see over here for TED, he has more wood than Lucifer, and part of that's just because he has a graveyard. Because graveyard means you have closer access, you can get wood quicker, and that does help. And then you can see finally Lucifer's graveyard just completed. But of course, he's also been pulling ghouls off of wood constantly. He needs to have his army present to prevent Ted from creeping and to deal with Ted's army. And as you can see, he's just, once this Lich gets to full mana, he just wants to use that Frost Nova either for the Fiend or for the Death Knight for something. He wants to be able to use that because you don't want to be wasting the precious time that your mana could be regenerating on its own. And so that's essentially why you're just going to see sometimes random Frost Novas that you're like, I don't really see how that's very makes sense, but it's just good because by the time there's going to be a fight, he's going to be about full mana again, unless he uses another one. But if he does, he'll use it to make sense. Now these ghouls are going to come over here and creep out this green. They can do that, no problem. And this Lich, of course, says I can't really harass 4 Fiends because 4 Fiends in the early game is really the magic number for dealing with ghouls, for ghoul-based armies, and that's why he goes ahead and moves his ghouls over here to creep this. And now he's going to say, okay, now I've got my Lich. I'm going to come over here, hitting level 2 on that Lich, of course. Going to go ahead and save that low HP unit. Now you can see Ted just hasn't quite clued into the fact, I don't think, that Lucifer is creeping, although he might be able to snipe this ghoul right here. Probably won't. We do see now that the Death Knight on the way out for Lucifer. Slaughterhouse up halfway through tier 2, and over here we're going to see again the tech's very much dead on the same, and we're going to see it looks like Ted throwing down a sacrificial pit and a slaughterhouse. Of course, this is also a very wood intensive build, and that's why you want to have your goals right there. I'm going to go ahead and see Lucifer picking up a Tome of Experience, creeping out the red natural close spawn camp right there. Of course, Lich Ghouls very good at creeping out this red bit. Ghoul's really such a powerful creeping ability, has such a powerful ability to creep out on Turtle Rock. It's such a good map for creeping with ghouls, and as you can see, he's going to be able to finish this off no problem. You don't really even need your Lich here except just to summon those skeletons on that fight. I'm going to go ahead and see Ted pulling out and creeping this Goblin Merchant. We do have Ted's Death Knight running in here. Maybe try to pick up an item from the shop if he can. Get boots, that would be brilliant. Will he be able to do that? He doesn't look like he's all that excited about trying to go in there and do it. He's just kind of chilling here. I think he was trying to steal the creep rather than anything else right there. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and pass the coil over to the Lich. The Lich, of course, could really use boots. Boots are kind of important on a Lich. Lich is a fairly slow hero. I think it's 270 movement speed. So it's fairly slow. And most heroes are I think 310. 305, something like that. Someone's gonna correct me, but the point is it's a fairly slow hero compared to other units that are considered fast units. Like the Death Knight, of course, is a faster unit than the Lich. So yeah, there's just my comparison. I don't know what I'm. It doesn't matter. It's not a huge issue, but anyway, we do see Ted with that orb on his Lich now. Still at 4 Fiends. Does he have any upgrades? Not quite yet. Gonna go ahead and see Lucifer tossing a Frost Nova onto Ted's Lich. Gonna force a coil onto the Lich from Ted. So not really sure what he was doing. I'm not sure if he actually just stole that or not. Wow, I was too busy thinking. That's not good casting, I'm sorry. Yeah, but anyway, we're going to see the orb now being picked up for Lucifer's Lich. And now, does he have boots? Nope, no boots. Going to see a healing scroll being picked up for this Death Knight now. And essentially, this army does not have Frenzy Ghoul yet, but it's about to. And we can see some Fiends actually being built now by Lucifer. So Lucifer going for a Ghouls and Fiends build, kind of transitioning. Instead of going with the Garg, saying Fiends are probably going to be the better option to support these Ghouls. And I think that's probably the best bet. Because when you have Gargs and you don't have a decent number of Gargs, they're kind of useless. Fiends, on the other hand, as long as if you're supporting Ghouls, Fiends are pretty effective, even in just like 2 or 3 of them. And that's just generally going to be for like your web, essentially, to deal with destroyers and such things. You can bring them down so that the Ghouls can find it. Either we're going to see this fight going on right now. Dark Ranger has been picked up for Ted. We're going to go ahead and see this Ghouls trying to get some surrounds on these Fiends, trying to take better positioning. There is Frenzy, of course, researched at this point. We're going to see one of these Fiends going to go down to a Nova as Ted raised his Death Knight to coil that. Only level 1 on that Death Knight, or I'm sorry, level 2 on that Death Knight, so only level 1 coil. Going to see another Fiend from Ted going down. Maybe a third one right here could go down. It's going to get coiled. You can see a Ghoul going down right there, and now we do see Lucifer actually going with the destroyers now before Ted. So Ted does not have the destroyer form just yet. It does, or at least it doesn't look like he hasn't made any of his statues into destroyers yet. Will you see? It looks like maybe we're going to see one of these statues getting a little bit of focus fire onto it. It's a possibility. We're going to see another Fiend going down from Ted as Ted raised his Death Knight to go ahead and coil that. Not quite fast enough. Will we see this around on this Lich? It's a possibility. You're going to go ahead and see a silence onto Lucifer's Lich. He does not want to get Frost Nova on this Lich right here. He does have a potion of lesser invulnerability if he absolutely needed to use it. Hopefully not to. And, oh, Ted going to get a statue away with 11 HP. Lucifer could have killed it, but he backed off, and I think he thought it was going to die. But either way, now we do see his ghouls are pretty much expended at this point. And as you can see, there's really nothing left. All he needs to do is move this acolyte, and this fiend can get out of this base, but it's trapped in the meantime. And we can see that he has 152 wood left, so he's going to have to, at some point, rebuild his at least a couple of ghouls so that they can get wood. So it was a nice job by Ted to pick off those ghouls and, of course, not lose his heroes. And so I'm not sure if I would say that Ted lost the fight. I think he may have lost the fight in terms of maybe experience, in terms of maybe gold and resource loss, but I'm not sure. But what he did do is he did go ahead and get rid of all of those ghouls, and that was a really good move to go ahead and do. Now you see these fiends. He did free that fiend, which Lucifer has some interesting build right here. Look at this. I can't help but notice, because I don't think I've ever seen a build like this where he's put your ziggurats like this in a kind of a 4x4 spaced out build. It's kind of odd. Normally you see them more all over the place. So I'm not sure exactly what this is all about. He probably has a really good reason for that, but I don't know what it is. We do see, of course, Lucifer rebuilding a goal. He does need the wood. Destroyers aren't exactly cheap. We do see Ted with that shade scouting out. Ted knows what Lucifer is doing. Does Lucifer know what Ted is doing? I have no idea. I would assume he probably has a decent guess. This isn't a very big map. He kind of knows he's creeping, and he knows he's on the other side of the map, so he knows that much. He can pretty much fill in the gaps, but having a shade on Lucifer's army, of course, very important. Let's Ted know a couple of things. That one, he knows that he can see that the upgrades that Lucifer has. He knows that he has better upgrades, as you can see. As you can see, Ted's upgrades are at 1-0, and if we look over here to his graveyard, we can see he's working on 2-0. Lucifer working on just 1-0, and we can see that Ted actually harassing Lucifer's acolytes now with those dark minions. He might even get one. It looks possible. Over here, we're going to see a fight going on. We'll keep this acolyte selected to see if it dies, and we can see this fight. Here we do see Ted going to go ahead and get his Death Knight silenced. Is he going to go ahead and eat that magic? Does do that with his destroyer. And trying to kill these units right here. Going to go ahead and kill a couple of fiends. Would you see that acolyte that was in his base indeed has gone down? So now Lucifer is down one acolyte. I'm not really sure, but he's going to go ahead and remake it. Whatever. And level 4 on his Death Knight, level 5 on his Lich. Now that he's level 5 on his Lich, he may go ahead and decide now is the time to get that third hero, because he could definitely use having a third hero. Really, any third hero would be good. Cripploid would be good here. Dark Ranger would be good here. Dreadlord would be good here. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dark Ranger. Of course, Dark Ranger is a Tavern hero. Does provide an AoE silence, and it does provide Dark Minion, and Dark Minion does provide mana for your Lich. So really, Dark Ranger, not a surprise for the third hero. Definitely probably the most common picked third hero in undead mirror matches. It makes sense, Of course, the Lich standing off to the side to give the experience fully on over to the Death Knight, and the Dark Ranger who doesn't want to still experience that. Still no boots of speed on either Lich. Kind of odd. Of course, there's Warsong Battle Drums on Lucifer's Lich. I'm sorry, on Ted's Lich. It's hard to say who's who. I know who's who. Lucifer is red, of course. Ted getting his Lich Nova'd again, but going to go ahead and coil it up to pretty much full health. Still taking some focus fire, though. Doesn't have a lot of life, of course, so kind of a fragile hero. Lucifer's Lich not too fragile, actually, at 825 life. He does have that pair up to Vitality, which is nice. And he's going to try to pull out the Creep Camp with the Murlocs. Of course, positioning here could be an issue for him. Let's see, Ted at 57 food, Lucifer, both players at 57 food. I'm going to go ahead and see, looks like Lucifer went ahead and Dark Ritualed one of his fiends that was trapped in a bad spot. We're going to go ahead and see silence on both players here, both players' Death Knights here. And we're going to see this Ted fiend go down. Of course, Ted does have 1-0 or 2-0 upgrades, and Lucifer only has 1-0 upgrades. Who's going to win this fight? It looks like Lucifer has better positioning in this fight, though. And as you can see, this is where it's going to be his Lich perfectly safe, while Ted's Lich not perfectly safe. Ted's Lich having to back off right there. Doesn't want to get into a bad spot. Go ahead and a nice micro from both players, of course. Going to go ahead and see two fiends going down. A Dark Ritual being done from that Dark Minion for Lucifer. Lucifer's Lich at quite a bit of mana right now. Both players have a lot of mana on their Lich. Two Frost Novas left, one Frost Nova left on Lucifer's Lich at this point, trying to take out Ted's Lich if he can. Lucifer's Death Knight gonna go ahead and pop a potion of greater invulnerability, or greater healing, 500 HP healing, and now trying to take out Ted's Lich, gonna force the TP now, and a Death Coil going off onto that Lich, trying to take out this Death Knight. Who got the better end of that deal? That's hard to say too. I would say Ted is catching up though, so I would say he probably won that fight. He is catching up, but I don't know. He did lose a lot in terms of resources compared to Lucifer. Definitely lost a lot in terms of resources. We might see Lucifer selling this Cloak of Flames at some point. We might see that happen. We might not. It's a decent amount of damage. You know, it's 10 DPS, which is a lot. It's a significant amount, but it's not really a huge amount. When you think, like, it's significant compared to his auto attack damage, but it's not like a significant amount in most armies. He is a tanky hero, so he can be in the front line. He can hit multiple units with it, of course. So if he's doing that, I mean, it's not bad, but I wouldn't be surprised if he sells it instead for, say, a mana potion. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if he does do that or not. Over here for Ted, we do see level 4 on that Death Knight, no items. Level 3 on that Dark Ranger, 2 charges left of a Rod of Necromancy. Level 4 on this Lich, Orb of Corruption, Warsong Battle Drums, Mantle of Intelligence +3, and Ring of Regeneration. So that is Ted's army. He does have 3 Crypt Fiends that are 3/0 attack upgrades, 2 Obsidian Statues, and a 4th Fiend on its way. Now over here for Lucifer's army, we do see that Dark Ranger at level 2, Boots of Quel'Thalas +6. His Lich does have level 5, of course, Scroll of Town Portal, Robe of the Magi +6 Intellect, Orb of Corruption, Potion of Invulnerability, that is a 15-second Potion of Invulnerability, pair up to Vitality, so 150 HP, and he just bought a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. And his Death Knight, level 4, about to level 5, Dust of Appearance, full 4 charges on a Rod of Necromancy, Scroll of Healing, and of course that Cloak of Flames. We do see him with 4 Fiends that are 1/0 upgrade and an Abomination and 2 Statues. So who's at the, we do see now, it looks like Ted up to 5 Fiends, that Death Knight level 4 now, and that Dark Ranger level 3, of course, and we do see basically Ring of Protection +2 on that Lich. Gonna go ahead and get a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, and that Death Knight, of course, has a Ring of Regeneration. So looks like Lucifer choosing to attack at this point. 2 level 5 heroes. Of course, he does have the advantage in that regard. That is a significant advantage. Will it be enough to go ahead and cause him to win this fight? We'll see. Trying to go ahead and immediately takes down a Fiend. Going to go ahead and get Lucifer level 3 on that Dark Ranger. Going to lose a Fiend. Yes, indeed, to Ted now. He needs to take out these Fiends. We do see that Ted actually has gone with a dual crypt at this point, so he can make lots of Fiends as fast as he can. We're going to see Ted getting lots of damage put off onto that Dark Ranger. Lucifer has managed to split up the Death Knight and the Dark Ranger. However, it won't matter. The Death Knight will reposition himself to give a coil to Ted's Dark Ranger right there. Now, Ted forcing to back off his units here. Gonna go ahead and will he lose that Dark Ranger? He loses the Dark Ranger from Ted. That does go down, and so that's not good for Ted right now. Lucifer in a great position with that Abomination. Still kind of does a lot of damage to Crypt Fiends even without any attack upgrades. Yeah, so yeah, there's all of that good stuff. Who's winning the fight? I would definitely say Lucifer is ahead at this point. As you can see, he goes ahead and takes down one of those statues. His Death Knight now taking a lot of damage. However, he's going to be forced to go and pop his Invul Potion on him. That should last 7 seconds. Yes, it's a 7-second potion. Just buying enough time to get his Death Knight out of that bad position. We do see it looks like Ted going to go ahead and focus down this Abomination that kind of wandered into the back of his base for some reason or another. Will Ted lose this ghoul? It's 50 HP. Just turn around. 2 volleys from just this guy and this just 1 volley really there. Yeah, down it goes. I'm not sure why he chased him all the way out there, but he did. And now this Fiend, or Ted, does have the Shade back onto this army. Of course, he doesn't really need it with this Watcher Ward right there. That's, of course, Ted's Watcher Ward. This one is Lucifer's. And, so yeah, pretty much what we're seeing happen there. I'm going to see another Abomination being picked up by Lucifer, and he's going to maybe try to control the Tavern. He could try to do that if he doesn't want Ted to actually Tavern his Dark Ranger back. Of course, Ted is actually buying it back. Oh, sorry. Buying it back from the altar, so that's not really... I mean, not really. I don't know if that's what Ted was trying to do. I'm sorry, Lucifer was trying to do there or not, but just walking by that, it doesn't hurt to check. And he's going to come over here and check to see, is there an expansion? We do have the Shade from Ted doing the same thing. Is there an expansion? Neither player with the expansion at this point. We do see Ted has his Death Knight kind of wandering the map right now. Could get into a fairly bad position right here. Going to go ahead and start taking a bit of damage. Going to get Frost Nova taking some taking a lot of damage, actually. Going to be able to walk away. He does have level 2 Unholy Aura, so he's moving pretty fast. Of course, we're going to see level 2 Unholy Aura also on Lucifer, but he's not going to catch that army. He's going to say, okay, well, now's my time to hit because you don't have your Death Knight here, and that's a pretty good move. Going to be seeing Ted forced to buy a Staff of Teleportation to get back into his base. He's going to lose one Fiend before he can really do anything. Going to coil the second one. Down goes that Fiend right there, so he's so far lost 2 Fiends in this battle. Lucifer really just taking a bit of damage on his Abomination and losing a bit of mana, so not really too much of an issue for him. And so Lucifer definitely is at the upswing in this fight. We do see Lucifer now at 2-0 attack upgrades on his Fiends now. Doesn't look like he's interested in getting any more of those armor upgrades at all, because he doesn't really have a lot of wood. We can see Ted at a decent amount of wood, however, he is now out of gold. You can see the same situation about to happen to Lucifer at 40 gold, but he does have an expansion on the way up, and Lucifer does have map control, so this expansion could be the deciding factor in this game. Absolutely could be, because again, Lucifer has map control, and when you have map control, you can put up your expansion. The problem with undead expansions, I've said it multiple times in my opinion, always the case, no matter what you're playing, Undead Mirror or not, if you do put up an expansion, you lose a bit of map control, absolutely. You do. But it looks like in this case, because there's 2 tight choke points right here, Lucifer doesn't have to worry too much about losing map control. We're going to see this is going to be the shade, of course. What we might see happen is the Staff of Teleportation might be used. Actually, he sold it. Probably not the best idea to sell that Staff of Teleportation, Ted. You're about to find out, because if he had it on his Lich, he could Staff of Teleportation his Lich over here to the shade, pick off all of those acolytes very quickly. You know, just try to run his army around the map, take a little bit of damage at his base, but probably would have been worth doing that. I don't know if it's true or not, but my guess is it would have been. Lucifer now, let's just go ahead and pause the game 1 second. I just want to see these food counts. We do see Ted at 48 out of 60 food, Lucifer at 59 out of 70 food. The upgrades are 2-0 on Lucifer's Fiends and 3-0 on Ted's Fiends, so we can go ahead and unpause there. A nice silence on that Dark Ranger as well as that Lich from Lucifer, and Lucifer going to back off. I thought they were going to have a fight. I freeze framed it like we were going to have a fight. We didn't have a fight. Well, we might have a fight. Ted now coming out, trying to take a better positioning. He could get this positioning right here. You go ahead and take out one Fiend, force the Death Coil. He could take out the second Fiend as well right now. The 2 then going to go ahead and get that second Fiend, so 2 Fiends down. We do see an Abomination out for Ted as well. Lucifer trying to kill one of these Fiends, gonna get Death Coil, gonna kill it anyway. Going for the Dark Ranger, killing that Dark Ranger incredibly fast. Holy crap. Yikes. Just went down really within just a couple of seconds. And now we're gonna see another Fiend going down. We just see Lucifer's Death Knight not in a good position here. Lucifer might lose his Death Knight. Down goes Lucifer's Death Knight. Now this is not a good spot for Lucifer at all. You're much better off with your Death Knight than your Dark Ranger. We do see Ted about to lose his Lich. Will he lose that? Not quite yet. He does go ahead and use a Potion of Invulnerability, gets Death Coiled up to the full HP. Lucifer now in a bit of trouble in this fight. Gonna go ahead and get level 6 on that Lich, level 4 on his Dark Ranger, but again, without the Death Knight, he does not have the ability to Death Coil any units. Gonna go ahead and see Ted backing off right now. Will it be enough? I don't know. This is interesting. You never want to lose your Death Knight. That's a big deal. That's a big no-no. Losing your Death Knight the way that Lucifer just lost it. He got surrounded by acolytes of all things. Ouch. Now you can see Ted does have the advantage. He has map control right now because he does have Unholy Aura, which makes his army much faster. Means he can do a lot better harassment. We can see him just trying to kill the units, picking units off as he goes. Going to force the Dark Ritual onto that Abomination. And as you can see, just really ridiculous. About to see him, I think, catch up in levels. I think he has pretty much done so. Level 5 on his Death Knight, level 5, about to level 6 on his Lich. Of course, level 6 is on Lucifer's Lich, but only level 4 on his Dark Ranger. Now, will he go for the Tavern Revive? Oh, well, his Death Knight a little over halfway back out. Question is, I don't know what the question is, but we do see it looks like Ted pretty much doing a good job using a ghoul to actually end this expansion pretty much, and he pretty much has done just that. killed all of the acolytes right there, and now he's going to be able to, you know, basically try to finish it off. He does have his Dark Ranger out at this point. It is out of mana right now. We do see, it looks like Lucifer definitely does not want to take the fight right now. He wants to wait for his Death Knight to come back out. It's about to come back out, so he just needs to keep waiting. He doesn't really want to lose his expansion, but he's going to go ahead and unsummon that. And Ted gonna go ahead and attack this. He needs to, because even though you get 50% of your resources back when you unsummon, if you get attacked as you go, you get less and less resources back for that every time you attack it, because it does damage, and that's what it is. It's 50% of the remaining resources based on the amount of life left. So every attack, of course, basically is directly taking resources away from Lucifer. Now we're going to see, it looks like Ted going to go ahead and creep this out. He does want to get as much gold as possible, get as many items as possible, and as much experience as possible. We're going to go ahead and get some experience picked up for his Dark Ranger. This could be a bit of an issue because Lucifer is not going to be able to come in here with a better positioning perhaps. Right-clicking onto this Acolyte, will he kill it? He might kill it and get a skeleton. Yes, he's going to get that skeleton. He could provide mana for his Lich if he wants to, but that Lich is actually already at full mana, 645. That's a lot of mana. That is a crazy amount of mana. Lucifer definitely has a better army at this point than Ted, but it's going to come down to who just micros better, really. Because these army sizes, the army is kind of inconsequential, pretty much. Your hero micro is where it is all at, and Lucifer does have a destroyer, which means he's going to be able to have the advantage in the hero micro fight because he can devour the silence that Ted's going to use. But if Ted times his silence just right, then he might be able to nab a hero kill, and if you nab a hero kill, that's going to win him the game, absolutely, because there is not an expansion up for for Lucifer at this point. Lucifer now is unsummoning buildings. He knows that this is it. He needs to have the strongest army possible. Of course, we're going to see Ted also unsummoning buildings. Both players at this point knowing that the issue here, as you can see, he's unsummoned his main. He doesn't need it. Lucifer unsummoning his main. He doesn't need it. On some maps, you wouldn't unsummon your main because you would say, well, I need that for the auto attack for the cold slow, but honestly, you're better off unsummoning it on a map like this where you can absolutely prevent a base race situation from ever happening, and you can do that very easily because there's so many choke points. As I mentioned before, getting in and out of these bases is very difficult to do unnoticed, and you know, if Ted tried to get over here, it just, you know, Lucifer would absolutely have the advantage, and he knows that because there's more, you know, he's right here. He's going to be able to immediately start attacking. And of course, we're going to see him just try to get some attacks off. Going to go ahead and run into his base. A bit of an interesting choice to do that because he knows that there's Nubian towers in here. So yeah, it's a little bit odd. I'm going to go ahead and try to kill this abomination. Going to get some damage onto it. It's going to get coiled. Going to go ahead and see 2 of Lucifer's ghouls have died. A third one about to go down right there. Yeah, so down they go. And yeah, like I said, well, you know, they weren't really all that important, but still. Lucifer doing something funny with his destroyers. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he's trying to do here or accomplish here with that, doing the destroyers the way he is. But Ted, of course, turtling right now in the back of his base. A really nice base design right here. As you can see, in order for Lucifer to run back here, it would be really hard, having to just pass through these tiny little choke points with a Nubian tower beating on him. So he does need to take out the sacrificial pit before he can actually run into the base and get an ideal positioning, which really would be kind of like this. But with that Nubian tower there, he's never going to really have that ideal positioning that he wants. It's not going to be ideal. It would be okay, but not ideal. We do see 645 mana on Lucifer's Lich, of course, 540 on Ted's Lich. He's about to hit level 6, very, very, very close. What is that, 16 experience away, I think? So that's a very, very small number. The Shade, of course, taking some damage from that immolation. And that immolation now is not really all that important. Really, this is, again, the kind of point where you would expect to see it sold. So I'm kind of surprised he hasn't. But I guess he doesn't really need the resources right now. I'm going to go ahead and see those destroyers being morphed in. We're going to see some Dark Ranger focus for Ted, trying to lose both players' Dark Ranger focus. We're going to see Ted backing his Dark Ranger off. We're going to go ahead and see now Ted getting a lot of damage on that Death Knight. He couldn't lose the Death Knight. The Death Knight goes down. Going to go ahead and keep Ted, going to Lucifer keep his Dark Ranger up. Oh, my, talking like a stutterer. Yikes. Well, that was a little bit intense, I think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That was game 2, and of course there's no game 3. If you saw game 1, you know why, and you know, so if you didn't see game 1, you can click right here and watch it, right over here at the upper left. Yeah, that's IF 2012 Best of 3 between Lucifer and TED. Oops, oh, that's that desk thing that you can hear in the background making some noise, very annoying. But yeah, so that was games 1 and 2. Hope you guys enjoyed them, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. But hopefully I think they were really good games, and hopefully you guys will too. So stay tuned. We have more games to come up over the next few days. I'm on holidays. I haven't moved just yet, but I will be moving in like an hour or two after I finish recording this. So that means I may not be able to get this up right after I do it, because I don't know if obviously if I'm moving I can't upload, but it'll be up today, and then hopefully after that, sometime tonight, I'll be able to cast another series and get that up tonight as well. So we'll see. So hopefully we'll have more up today. That's my time, EST Standard Time. So right now I can just look and see what time it is. I'm not sure why I'm telling you all this, because it's like totally going to be pointless, but it's 7 o'clock right now. So hopefully this will come up before I move. These videos should be on the channel before I go for the moving bit, and then, you know, maybe sometime like say 6 hours, maybe 8 hours after these videos have gone up, maybe I'll be able to get another IF series up, because a bunch of the new IF 2012 games have been uploaded. So yeah, so there you go, there you have it. That's my whole update for you guys, and I'll see you guys hopefully later today.